Hello, fellow shut-ins. This is Dustin Stuckey with an intro to Google Classroom and some of the basic skills that you'll need to get started. So for those of you who don't know what Google Classroom is, where have you been? But seriously, it's Google's platform to connect students to their teachers online, which is really super convenient right now. It all kind of centers around the Google Suite using Google Drive, Docs, Sheets, Forms, Slides, and even Calendar to make that connection. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me find the right page. There we go. All right, so once you go to classroom.google.com, it's going to bring you to this page right here. I think that I need to gesture this way, don't I? There we go. It's going to bring you to this page right here where I've got a whole list of classes, and yours will probably be blank if you don't have a class yet. And you're going to click this little plus button up in the top right corner, create or join a class, and you want to create a class. I have a class for each block that I teach, so you can see, if I hit cancel here, you can see in the background that like this is English 4 W1. So that's my White 1 class of English 4. So when I created that class, I typed in the class name, and the section is what block. You can go ahead and put the subject in the room as well, but I don't necessarily need that information. I just need the first two things to distinguish between my classes. Then you'll click create. So I'm creating a class called class name in the section block. It's going to take a moment here. And then you've got your class. It does select a random theme for you, or I don't think it's random. I think that it uses the information that you typed in. Usually if you put in an English class as a book theme, if you put in a math or science class, it has a theme that kind of goes along with that. And you can click right here to change the theme. That's not something that I'm covering today. Instead, we're going to cover how to manually add students, how to post notes and materials, and how to post assignments, and how to manage entire class or individual students. Okay, so first step, adding students. You're going to click right over here where it says people. And down here where it says students, you'll click invite students, and then you're going to type in their email address or their name. So I'm going to add Colleen Stuckey to my class, and I will just click invite, and that's going to send her an invitation through email. So they'll have to go ahead and click join class, or rather when they go to Classroom, they'll get a notification that they've been added to a class. Another way that you can add students is by using the class code. This is what I traditionally do when I'm meeting with students in the classroom, but with us meeting with students outside of the classroom, this is going to be somewhat more difficult, as this is going to kind of be your central point of communication. But I suppose if you wanted to send this out with other information that's being sent home, you could print out this class code and ask them to join Classroom that way. But the better way will be to simply invite each one of your students with this method. Additionally, if you are teaching with other teachers in the same class, you can add teachers at this point. You can invite teachers. It's exactly the same process. Type in their email address, and it will send them an invitation. All right, so that's adding students. Let's get on to the next thing. Posting notes and materials, like a Zoom link. All right, so let's say that you've created a Zoom. And you want to post that. I'm sure that Zoom will be coming in another video. So I've got a meeting that I had with my students. You can see we had a family meeting the other day. We were testing it out. So I've got this meeting that I've already scheduled with my students. I had this meeting yesterday, but I can go ahead and I can copy this link And then in here, under Stream in the classroom, I can click Share something with your class. Follow this link to join the meeting. And just paste it in there. Click Post. And that will send a notification out to every student in the class about this meeting. When I did this yesterday, I sent out a notification to all of my classes saying that I wanted to meet with them. I had 18 students show up. Now that's out of a lot more than 18, like 50 or so. But that was with pretty short notice. So, they had not been notified that they needed to be checking their classroom. It's just because they got the notification on their phones or whatever they were using to look at the internet. So, at any rate, this is how you could post that. Now, let's look at assignments. To post assignments, you're not going to want to use this link here in the middle. This used to be where you posted assignments, but they've changed that in the recent years. And what you'll do is you'll click Classwork. I feel like I'm talking really fast. I'll try to slow down when I get to parts that I think are more complicated. And it's pretty simple here, though. You'll click Create, and then you have a number of options: assignment, quiz assignment, question, material, reuse post. This is really useful when you've got multiple classes going at once and you want to send the same thing to all of them. You could send it to them all at once, or you can reuse something that you have used in another class. So let's start at the top here with assignment. All right. So, an assignment can be just about anything, right? Worksheet number 1. And then here's where you can put in some instructions. And down here you can either add, this one has like this paperclip symbol, which is an attachment, obviously. And you've got a number of options here. You've got a Google Drive, which is what I'm going to cover here in just a moment. A link, this can link students to outside sources. A file, this is an upload from your local computer. YouTube, this one I would use with caution because a lot of stuff is blocked for students. So you won't be able to necessarily get them directly to the video that you're hoping to get them to. I'll cover another way to do this later. So let's first go with Google Drive. And then what you need to do is you need to find the assignment in your Google Drive. So I'm going to look here and let's see. Go to My Drive. And I'll just go with English 4. Pull something from Canterbury Tales. All right, here's The Wife of Bath's Tale. So this is a PDF, and this is just a text that they can read. This is what I used because our textbooks weren't looking so great. I used this for them to read The Wife of Bath's Tale. Now you can also add from Google Drive, let's add a Google Doc here. Let's see. That's interesting. There we go. So this is a Google drawing that I created that is a it's a template for a Twitter page, and students had to create a Twitter page for a character from the story that they read. So over here on the PDF, I only need the students to view the file, right? So each student is going to have the same file. They can all be reading it at the same time. This is like when there are a bunch of people on the same document. You can see them all up in the corner. They're all looking at the same exact document. Now, in this one, I don't want them all editing the same document, right? I want each of them to have their own. So I'll click over here. Instead of students can view, I'm going to skip over students can edit, and instead click Make a Copy for each student. This way, each student gets their own copy that when they click to open it, they're not editing all of them the same exact thing. So then I'll click Assign, or I can also click Schedule. This will allow you to schedule an assignment for sometime in the future, obviously. Or finally, Save Draft, which if you're not done compiling all the information for this assignment, you can save it so that later you can come back and finish it. All right, but I'm just going to click Assign. Takes it just a moment because it's creating new documents for me. And now you can see that I've got, under classwork, now I've got this one assignment. I can click here to edit it or delete it. I'm going to click Edit. I'm going to change one thing. Over here, where it says Topic, I'm going to create a new topic and put this under Chaucer. Whoops. And I can also set a due date. Let's say this is due on Friday. There we go. There's a rubric there too, but I'm going to put that in an advanced video. So now we've got the assignment, we've got the attachment, and we've got what they're going to turn in. And when they click on this and start working on it, there will be a button in the top right corner that just says Turn In, and they'll click that once they've finished it. All right, let's go back to the stream. This is what the students will see as soon as they sign into Classroom. It'll be the stream. So you can see that my new assignment is here on top, and that Zoom meeting has bumped down. It also has over here what's coming up for the students, and you can see that this is due on Friday, that worksheet is, so that lets them know what they need to be working on and when. Also, if I go back to Classroom, you'll notice that now I've got this header up here that says Chaucer. I've also got it right over here on the left-hand side. Now, since I've only got the one topic, this isn't all that useful. But once you have several different units, if you've got a student who has missing work from the past, you can click on the topic that you have it filed under so that you can quickly and easily find the assignment that they are missing. All right, so let's go back over to our list and see what's next. Posting assignments, check. Message entire class or individual students. Okay, for this final thing, I'm going to click back over here on People, and I can do a couple of things. I can invite a guardian, so I can type in like a parent's email address here. This is really useful, especially for the younger grades, because now if I have a guardian in this, it will say it will send a notification to the guardian as well as the student when I post an assignment. That way we've kind of got double up on them getting that information. I'm not going to invite Colleen's mom to this. But over here I can click Email Student. That's how I could email her individually. Or I can click this checkbox, will check all the students, and I can click Email so that I can email them all at once. It'll just generate an email with all of their addresses in there. I can also click Remove if a student moves away and you don't want them to still be in the class, or they change classes, what have you. Finally, the last thing on here is Mute. This comes in really handy when you do class discussions. Let's go back to classwork real quick. I'm going to create something else here. I'm going to create a question. How is your day of online school going? Now over here, I can have a multiple choice. So I could add options down here for that multiple choice. I'm just going to have a short answer. So this is kind of like a journal entry. I use this every day with my students just as a bell ringer activity. When they first come in, they know they've got a question they need to write a response to. Anyway, I'll click Ask over here. And then when I click on this, I can view that question. I can see that Colleen has not yet answered it. But once she answers it and the rest of the students in the class answer it, well, let me just show you what that looks like. Let's bug my Red 1 class. we go. What are your plans for spring break? We had some pretty short answers in this one. But this is what it will look like. I've got all of my students' answers over here, their responses, and then the students are actually able to click reply to their classmates so that their responses can be replied to. Sometimes I ask students to ask other questions, like if we're reviewing a book, I say, write a question that you think should be on the test, and then answer 2 questions that your peers wrote. That way, they get some feedback from and some interaction between their classmates. And that's something that I think will be really useful right now with what we've got going on. But occasionally, students, just like they do out loud, say things that are inappropriate and you want to shut that down. So let's say Colleen's been making inappropriate posts. I'm just going to click mute. And you can see that now she can submit work, but other classmates won't see it. She won't be able to reply to any classmates, and she can't comment or post on the stream. So that shuts them down on their ability to do those interactive things. But they can still turn in work so that you can see what they're doing and still assess them that way. All right, that's the list for the simple stuff. I'm sorry if it seems rushed. You can probably play this video back at a slower speed so that you can get all that, but I trust that you can use that pause button when you need to. I'm going to do some advanced things in the next video here. Yeah, I'm just going to save that for the advanced video. So, all right, take care of yourself, social distancing and all that. You know the drill.